Well, greetings everyone today that might be joining us. Today we get to hear from Kelly Davis. So Kelly, thank you for joining us and giving us some of your time. I know you're a busy person and we would love to meet you and hear a little bit about you, your background, a bit about your company, maybe how you got started. So whatever you would like to share.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for having me. So my background, right now I'm the founder of Valo Wellness Spa. We are a day spa and wellness center in Omaha. My background actually takes me back to working with a lot of the U.S. Olympic team members, with show jumping members, both the equine and the human athletes. I absolutely loved working at that level of competition. It's just something totally different than anything else. You know, these high athletes. I worked with a physical therapist that we treated both the equine and human athletes. And through that, at that level, there are a lot of restrictions on what you can and cannot use with the athletes. And we were able to find non-invasive modalities, things like vibration therapy, cool lasers, and I just saw phenomenal results with them. Fast forward a few years, I still loved what I did, but traveling and being gone for so long was just a lot. And I kind of wanted to shift to being back home and being home more. Well, I wasn't working with the level that I was used to of competition, but just the athletes, because you have to be out on the circuit to do that. And I finally decided, okay, well, it's time. I'd always joked from years and years past. I joked that I would someday own a spa. Started off as a very surface level dream for me of, yep, I just want to own a spa, whatever. Oh, it'll be great. But in developing my business, I went more into the why and why we were going to start this, what we were going to provide clients. And that's where I fall back on my love of non-invasive modalities that we used with the horses. And I wanted to bring a spa that had evidence-based modalities and products that weren't going to harm so
You
from
were
my love
interrupted for
of
just a
the
second there.
non-invasive
So
modalities. Okay, you good? So from my
all
love of the
good.
non-invasive modalities that we use with the horses, I then wanted to bring that in a manner and find modalities and products that were non-invasive for our clients. There are tons of offerings out there, but I wanted to find ones that were non-invasive and were backed by science. Everything at Valo has to be backed by science. Otherwise, we do not bring it in. Valo means light and finish. So one of our main modalities that we have here is an LED light panel. It's the only FDA cleared panel that is on the market currently. It is called a Saluma panel. We use it in our facials, we use it in our massages, and it's also up in an area we call the Wellness Playground, which has a variety of new wellness technology that clients can come in and try. We do retail some of them, so they could potentially have them at their home. But I wanted to create a holistic approach for client, or a holistic alternative if that's what clients wanted to do. And our main goal here is to help each and every individual client find the wellness lifestyle that best suits their needs, because not every single person is the same and your needs are not going to all be the same.
Beautiful. So there's lots of learnings from a previous career that you loved, and
Yes.
bringing the science in from the evidence-based into the day spa experience at a whole new level.
Absolutely.
Love that.
Absolutely.
Love that. So I'm just curious then, when you think about the insights that you might have gained from when you first started your business to where you are today, what have you learned that might be of interest to share?
Well, one of the biggest things I learned is I had no business opening a business. And because, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. But definitely, and this is something that I was always pretty good at, but I hadn't scaled it to the degree that I have and that I'm continuing to, is systems in businesses, and continuously creating systems, creating workflows. Obviously, in a startup, you're going to have glitches here. You're going to have, this system's going to work great, but then when you expand a little bit or you get a little bit busier, that's not going to work. It fails. Okay, let's create a new system. But yeah, businesses running on systems, I kind of already knew that, but didn't realize how truly important and the variety of systems that you have to have in place.
Absolutely, especially as you invest in team and
Exactly.
grow and to teach and encourage others to get on board, no doubt.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Previous to this, I was kind of in a way a solo, if you will. I did have a few other people, just a handful of people underneath me, but growing to a team of 13 now is where we're at. It's a lot. And so making sure everyone is communicating and just finding those processes that are correct and are going to be effective for everyone.
Beautiful. Well, Kelly, what we like to say is systems is an acronym: saving yourself time, energy, and money.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
You've proven it, right? So I'm curious,
Yes.
you referenced team. So let's talk about team a little bit. What are the qualities that you look for when you're building team, and what kind of investment do you make in your team and your work culture?
Definitely, I look for people who, because in any industry, it doesn't matter where you are, you need to have flexibility and you need to be able to shift. Positivity is very, very key. People that like to work together, because there are definitely people that don't like to work on a team necessarily. They kind of want to be individuals. But looking for those people, upbeat, yeah, that's really what I look for when I'm building the team. And we definitely do some interviews where we have potential new employees come in, and I actually have other current employees interview them, because I want to make sure, it can be all prim and proper with me in an interview, but there have actually been some potential employees that when they did their interview with another staff member, or a shadow with another staff member, there were actually things that came out that did not meet our company culture here. And you need to believe in what we're doing here. And that was one thing specifically, that there were a few modalities that we did here that this potential team member did not believe in. And that doesn't work on our team.
Right. Catch that early on. Right. So
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
beautiful. We support a 4-step selection process also, and really helps candidates deselect out when they can recognize themselves that the fit isn't there. That's even
exactly.
Better, quite honestly. I'm just curious about, how do you integrate your personal life goals and the dream of building this business and growing it to the next place? How do you integrate those two?
It's definitely challenging. We're still a little under a year old. Being able to find a balanced time has been difficult. I didn't have a life in any way, shape, or form outside of this place, definitely in the beginning, but starting to make steps and really working with other tools. I have a specific scheduling app that I block out when I should be working and then when I'm not working. And it helps me find, what I need to be working on and when, and helps me best optimize my days so that I can get the work that I need to get done. But then I also then can step away from the business, and I can enjoy time with family or friends and other hobbies.
Yeah, those boundaries are important, because oftentimes we meet folks where one of the reasons they went into business is so that they had some of that freedom, and yet they're feeling very trapped in the number of hours they're putting in.
And time blocking is so important, especially as a business owner. You're being pulled in 7 different directions every single day, where you may have a team member that they only have one job. Well, and they don't quite understand, but it's like, you have 7 different directions that I'm being pulled in. So time blocking of, okay, this is my time for me to work on the financials. This is my time that I have set aside, that whatever it is, I'm going to work on marketing, but I'm going to work on something with marketing. I'm not going to be working on the financials then. But definitely time blocking is a skill that I'm still getting good at. I'm not great at, but I'm still working on and will continue to work on, so that I can best optimize my time so that I'm able to not spend all of it in the business.
Nice. Time mastery really is self-mastery, isn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And modeling that as you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about, you're a little over a year. What are maybe some business misconceptions that you bumped into about running and owning your own business? Have you bumped in anything there?
That you're profitable right away.
Uh,
It takes startups. I mean, definitely, I think the average, if I remember correctly, is 3 to 5 years for startups to become profitable. But a lot of people think that you have it all together right away. You have all your systems in place. No, we don't. No, I didn't. The amount of people that would reach out to me from different organizations of, oh, you should join our organization. Oh, we can do this. We can do that. I'm trying to make sure that, my hot towel cabbies are turning on correctly and the laundry is getting flipped because we just opened and we didn't have a system for that. I think this the biggest misconception is you're gonna have it all, or business owners have it all figured out in the beginning. And it's gonna be a while before you have it all figured out. I still don't have it all figured out. I'm in the process of a big shift right now, and switching to kind of some new systems, and it's growing pains, but it's good growing pains, but it's definitely growing pains.
Yeah, I hear you. And we like to talk about it, focus priorities, right? Because
Yes.
so massive, many distractions. And for today or for the next quarter or the next 90 days, what's the priority focus for us? And
Mm-hmm.
I like to hear that you've
Yeah.
got that mindset.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Curious about what does the next 5 years look like for you? What are some of your hopes and dreams around that?
Definitely an expansion of the business. Potentially would like to see a franchise out of this business. I have kind of about 3 different developments that I would like to work, or 3 different areas, I guess, if you will, to work on with, potentially some within the state's distribution of a specific product line. Definitely expanding to having more of an online presence as far as an online store goes. But that franchise model, I really am very interested in working on that.
Nice, nice. I'm curious, you're very intentional about evidence-based approach and
Mm-hmm.
systems and non-invasive and such. How do you select the vendors and suppliers that you work with? Is that a process that you've also thought through? And what might be some of those common
Yes.
denominators?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, starting off, the amount of vendors that I have been able to just push to the side was, where's your evidence? Where are your studies? Where are the studies? Asking them that. And then for me, when you go into product lines, it's a little bit harder, but definitely looking at where products are being sourced, how they are being created. And then I also do, just because I have a love kind of sustainability, we're only given one planet. So in the business world, let's try to model them or make the most sustainable model that we can. So a big thing with all of our product lines is finding sustainable companies to also work with and partner with. I mean, we have it everywhere from one product line only uses glass jars because that can be recycled, to our trash bags all of our trash bags used in-house are compostable.
Beautiful. And those are things that you value. And so I trust that when
Exactly.
you're building team, and partnering with vendors and suppliers, those are
Yeah.
things that you would ask for as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And
Love
because a
that.
lot of companies nowadays are starting to, they bring out their sustainability mission and can show you and tell you how they are sustainable. And so that's very important. If there is a company that has nothing about sustainability or nothing about organic or clean beauty, I won't even look at them. Like, if you don't have anything like that, then clearly it's not important enough for you to talk about, which we do talk about here. So it's not, our missions don't align. I'm not saying you're a bad company. It's just our missions don't align.
Yeah. And clarity, I'm guessing, since you started with why and all of that, you can come back to those foundational elements when
Absolutely.
there's a decision in front of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Having your why, having your mission statement outlined, in the beginning was very, very important to me. That was kind of one of the first things I did, because then it helped guide me throughout the entire process of development, and continued development of this business.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm curious, as you think about and not that we always get to start again or a do-over, though, what would you do differently? What have you learned here in this last year or so that you might let people know that here's what I might have done?
What would I have done different? A lot of things. I don't even know where to start with this one, but I think what was hard for me was this was not I got my degree in business. So I kind of knew whatever I was going to do, I would at least have a degree in business so I knew how to do it or knew how to run a business. This wasn't my industry. And that was there were a lot of bumps. I think if I were to go back and do things differently, it would definitely be to have some better systems set in place prior to opening. However, the caveat with that is I didn't know. This wasn't the horse industry. This wasn't any other industry I've ever worked in. So it goes back to I didn't know until I actually knew. So if going back, it definitely would be systems. And another big thing I think for me would be to have some other leadership within the company than just me. I've recently hired a contractor who deals with all of our HR. She does hiring. She gets all the paperwork filled out. She handles any time off, payroll issues, all of that. I wish I would have had her sooner, but I didn't know she existed. But definitely having some outside sources, and you don't necessarily for that example specifically, you don't have to have someone in-house necessarily doing it, but trying to find resources externally that you can have someone to go to. So it's not just you trying to handle all of it, because you're not going to be able to, it's just not going to work.
Absolutely. So on Team Kelly, there are lots of resources. Same thing, Team Linda. My housekeeper, the person that cares that piece is as much on my team as anybody else on the payroll. So because it allows you to do other things that are important, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. Love that. I'm curious, how do you invest in your lifelong learning, right? How do you learn best? What's the investment in Kelly to keep growing and learning as a business owner?
Well, you're never done learning ever in life. That is definitely has been drilled into me since I was a child. You're never done learning. But I really like to listen to just business podcasts, and get other ideas from people. I do, I love historical fiction books, but I will have myself listen to business books so that I can I'm listening to one right now, becoming a better leader, or just working on becoming a better leader, and just trying to find other ways to develop myself. I've gone to other conferences, and at the end of the day, I want to make myself a better business leader. I feel the business knowledge will come, and as things happen, and I surround myself again with, I have a very good attorney, I have a very good accountant, I have a very good now HR person, but becoming a leader and growing those skills for me as a leader, that's something that I will always continue to work on, because no one will ever be the perfect leader.
Right. And modeling that when you invest in you, when you invest in others, no one can take that away, right? That's an investment to appreciate the value of what you're building.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I'm also curious about, the idea of, with lifelong learning and how you play it forward. Obviously somebody's invested in you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You could experience that value and, giving it back from a sustainability perspective. Even as you think about planet Earth, you're thinking about how do you play this forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And there have been other kind of originally started off as like a contractor, for example, but has become a good friend. And she called me one time and was like, this is an issue I'm having with my accountant. What do you see? What do you think? And, being able to, well, this is what I know. That doesn't sound correct. This is what I have learned. And being able to share and be a resource to others in the community and help other business owners. If anyone were to ever have a question and I might have the answer, I would love to be the one to provide that, because I definitely seek out questions when I'm like, I don't know what to do. Seek out advice from those that have been there, done that. I mean, the wheel's already been created. Let's not recreate it. Let's just roll it over here so you can help me.
Absolutely. That's part of where we're at is, creating world abundance together, doing life
Exactly.
together.
Exactly.
We're very congruent in that spirit. And I talk with my executive coach as well and have had one over the years. It's a great investment for sure. I'm curious, how do you build fun into your work day, into your work environment?
I think that drilling it down, it goes to the team and who's here. And just getting along. I mean, a lot of the people here are kind of have started to turn. I mean, we are almost a year old, and a lot of them have started to turn into kind of family in a way. And just kind of being able to joke around with them and all that. I think that just, it goes to the culture and those that you add to the team and the members that you add to the team.
Absolutely. And do they get to experience some of the services of your day spa?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All team members here have access to, they are able to use any modality up in the wellness playground, and then they can perform services on each other. Absolutely.
Yeah. Even the language you're using, the wellness playground, right? That implies the fun spirit.
Yes.
And I think we're really emphasizing in the world here that self-care is not selfish care and should not be the last thing that somebody thinks about, right?
Absolutely. Well, and just the studies, can't figure it out. I'm a very science-based person.
Yes.
But the studies that have come out that show that even taking, 15 minutes of time for yourself every day as a high performer, what that is going to do to you. It is going to increase. Yeah, you may be stopping for 15 minutes, but you're focusing on yourself, and that's just going to shoot you so much higher as a high performer because you spent that time on yourself. Now you can focus on everyone else. And I think that goes back to that time blocking of, making sure you set aside time for yourself, for your family, for you to do the things that make you happy. As much as you love your business, it should not be your entire life, and it shouldn't be the sole, it shouldn't have the weight of being the sole happiness and joy in your life. You do need to have some things, whether that's, it might be hanging out with friends, even if it's as simple as that. Make that a priority too, because you need to feed your soul and your emotional well-being with diversifying what you do in your life.
Absolutely. And helping them transition into that space of returning to the people that they love, so they don't just get the leftovers of somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah, beautiful.
Exactly.
What might be one of the biggest challenges yet that you're working through right now as you're growing to that next level?
Hiring. Mm-hmm. That is definitely a big issue. Finding qualified candidates and candidates that would like to work. The amount of people that we've had apply for different job openings that either don't even show up to the interview or like won't even respond to your response of, hey, we'd love to interview you. The amount of people that oh my gosh, I hate opening up jobs on Indeed. That's one of my least favorite things, because the amount of people that will submit but will never even respond to you. Or you'll get someone who's going to be great. I had someone a few weeks ago. She was fabulous, going to be perfect for the team. She just had to do that employee shadow interview, if you will, and just fell off the face of the earth. Don't know where she went. And so it's just finding quality people that are going to fit your team, but also, to have a body here, because right now we had a staff member move to a different state. And so we are very short staffed up front. And so it is pulling me away from all of my duties, because we need to have someone up front checking guests in and out. If you don't have that, you're not making any money.
Right. Right. Well, and again, that experience is the marketing and what is the story that you want out there, no doubt.
Exactly.
No doubt. Do you think that's a learned behavior since the pandemic? Is there something there that we need to learn from of people getting so far, and then the respect or the courtesy of following up and say, hey, Kelly, maybe it's not going to work out after all.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I wish I had better insight on that. I don't feel like I don't feel like I can accurately answer that question. I think it's a very good question. I would be very interested to know. But I wasn't hiring pre-pandemic. So I think a lot of people, though, just in today's world in general, with things like affiliate marketing, and just work from home jobs, I think there has been a massive change. I mean, I was just listening to a podcast a few weeks ago, and they were talking about vertical farming, where farmers are going in and taking over office buildings in downtown areas and farming in them because they're not being used. And the amount, I can't remember the exact number of square footage that within the next 5 years that's going to be unused for office buildings is unbelievable. So it's nice to see that some other people have pivoted and found a way to utilize that. But I think just definitely from the pandemic, the shift of going towards affiliate marketing and ways to make money at home has definitely affected the pool, if you will. I can't speak to the response time or the lack of response, but definitely it has affected the pool of available workers out there for sure.
Yeah. And in the service industry, some of those positions are not remote.
Exactly. None of them are.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Very, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think just that learning insight of a company isn't about necessarily the brick and mortar. It's about the heart and soul of creating an environment. And I can hear that that's an important part of how you're approaching your business as you grow and offer a valuable service out there for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious, and you're a young leader anyway, young entrepreneur. I'm just curious, what advice might you have for your younger self?
Don't do it. No, I'm just kidding. But really sitting and evaluating what you want to do exactly, and really setting up the structure in the beginning so that you are able to participate in things outside of work. Because it was a long first 6 months or so of, not having any time off. And I didn't pre-plan and pre-structure things. It definitely, as basic as planning meals, and things like that, definitely being able, if I was able to talk to my younger self or have a young mentee, just, let's figure out ways that you can, before it explodes and you open, because it's a bomb when you open, it just explodes, but find ways that you can be there for yourself without having to put in tons of effort. As far, might even be freezer meals, for example, having that kind of prepped and ready to go so you can come home and it's not, well, I'm going to stop at McDonald's on the way home because I haven't eaten any day. You need to fuel your body in order for you to be there for other people.
Fueling, I like that term, fueling.
Yeah.
Beautiful. This whole discussion that we've had, and I love the insights and the evidence-based and the science, and the intentional planning with systems and always process improving. There's a wonderful theme that you've got here. And I just want to thank you for your time,
absolutely,
sharing some insights that others that might be viewing this and watching this that can pick up with. And, just the idea of investing in yourself and making sure that with planning, right, things can be done. We can manage things differently when we do intentional planning.
And it gets better. It does get better. I definitely went through a time where I did not see any light at the end of the tunnel, but it does get better. It's just learning to constantly adapt and overcome, because you're going to constantly pivot 7 different ways to Sunday. Every day I pivot. I have my plan for the day. I was interviewed actually not that long ago by a business student, and they said, well, what does your day normally look like? And I was like, that's funny. I don't know, because I have my plan for my day, but then I don't know where it goes. It just kind of, I have the best intentions, but as a business owner, it's not going to go the way you want it to.
Well, I want to validate for you, though, putting systems in place is a really good strategy of getting it out of your head and getting it so you can do something with it. We like to talk about working on your business and working in your business.
Yep, absolutely.
And, that as a business owner to grow and actually to run a commercial profitable enterprise system that can run without you, right? So it's not dependent on you. Yeah,
exactly. That's the end goal here, is
that
to
is
just
the end goal.
Let it run.
There you go. Love that. All right, Kelly. Well, thank you again for your time. And
Yeah,
I trust that there'll be great insights that people will pick up here, and maybe reach out and come and enjoy the spa. Give us the address of your spa.
awesome. Yeah, we are located inside of the Regency Court Mall. The address is 120 Regency Parkway. We are Suite 104, right next to Borsheims.
Beautiful. We'll do some shopping and have a day spa.
Awesome. Perfect. Sounds great.
Thanks, Kelly.